What's up, y'all? This your boy CJ. Hey, thank you for tuning into Hard Money Hustle. Hey, in today's video, I am going to break down a crazy case study to basically break down how I had a client make money and literally become a guaranteed millionaire all at once without putting down any money. So it's crazy. So if you want to watch that story, make sure you watch this video to the very end. I'm going to really just break down exactly how he did it. And maybe you can pull some tips and you can do the exact same thing. So if you haven't already, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, Hard Money Hustle, easy to find. And I am also the founder of Grandiose Capital, where we provide private money, hard money for real estate investors just like you in order to help you guys make millions, if not billions of dollars. So jumping right into the video, right? True story, I had a client come to me and basically asked me for a hard money loan in order to get him out of a situation. Now, let's rewind. I'm going to explain what that situation was. So this person found a property. Let's say the property, well, I'll give you the numbers. I believe the property was 2.034 million, right? So $2 million property. Let's just keep numbers there, right? He was able to purchase that property for 1.17 something million, right? From the seller. Instead of the seller selling him the property traditionally, the seller decided to seller finance the property to him. What does seller financing mean? Seller financing means that the seller acts as if they are the bank. They give you the property, you take ownership of it with a contract or deed or however they break it down, and then you agree to pay them the monthly payments because they're basically lending you the money to purchase the property. You own the property now. Now you're paying them as if they're the bank, right? So he seller financed it, right? Before he made a payment to even seller finance in the property cash flows, it's 100% occupied, it's cash flowing. I think it was pulling in like 34 to 40,000 a month, right? So crazy deal. I don't even know how he got into it, but hey, you hustle, you work hard, you find stuff, right? So he jumps into the deal. Seller finances the deal, right? So he owns the deal. He comes to me. How can I get out of this? Now, this is a very complicated deal to pull off. My company can pull off deals like this. Not many companies can. So it's not just one of those deals where you can just call anybody to get this done. My company can pull this off. Most places will say, you didn't own it long enough. We're only going to go off the purchase price, stuff like that, whatever. So most places won't do this deal. I was able to get this deal pulled off, right? So he comes to me and he's like, okay, I seller financed this property. I owe this person this much money, 1.17, whatever, right? The property, I have an appraisal on the property, is worth 2.034, right? Is there any way that you can get me out of it? So I made my phone calls. I have access to a lot of funds. I have access to family offices. I have access to a lot of connections, right? Like I said, this is the real estate space, relationships, everything. Not many people can pull off this deal, but I was able to get this deal done, right? So he comes to me, I make my phone calls, and I was able to get it structured in a way where we can get him a 12-month loan, interest only, and get him 65% leverage. So got him 65% leverage. He was able to pay off the seller financing in full, basically eliminate the lien or whatever they had on it, take our leverage, and he was able to walk away with $84,000 in his pocket, tax-free, right? Because if you get the money in debt, you pay no taxes. On top of that, so check this out. On top of that, he's also cash flowing as is, because I think the payment came out to like, because you know what I mean, I think the payment came out to like 14, 15,000, but the property's pulling in like 40,000. So he's cash flowing on top of that. So he just got a check at the closing table for 84,000. So imagine that. Imagine you put no money down on a property. The seller finances it to you. You pay off $1 million. You keep control of a $2 million property. You get $84,000 that you can put in your pocket. It goes directly into your bank account at the closing table. you can use that money to buy another property, and the property that you currently have is cash flowing, right? That is putting money in your pocket every single month. So all of that is working for him. And also, I gave him a 12-month interest only loan. If he owns it for at least 6 months, he can refinance again with me for 70 to 75%, get another cash out, put some money in his pocket, and he can have a long-term mortgage on it with a lower rate and cash flow even more. So even after his 6 months of ownership, he can do a long-term. It's a win-win-win-win-win situation for him. And then if he decides to turn around and sell it for the $2 million that it's actually worth, he has instant equity in it as well, where he can even make more money than that. So this dude can literally quadruple dip in the same exact deal, literally become pretty much, if he holds it long enough, become an instant millionaire, a for sure millionaire, just with this one property, and he has money in his pocket to buy other properties. So that's just one of the things that we can pull off. That is a true story, and that happens at our company. Not a lot, because you usually don't run across investors that get deals for that good of a deal for that low. I mean, he pretty much got the property for like almost 50%, right? So you have to be a really good investor to negotiate something like that. But the investors that do negotiate deals like that, they can end up in situations like this guy was in. I'm not going to say no names. We don't share none of our clients' information, but that is a case study that I can actually break down to you. That is actually true. That actually happened, on how you can use this real estate space and make a whole lot of money with creativity, right? And that's why it's always good to have a relationship. That's why I tell people it's always good to have relationships in this business, right? There are some people who burn relationships in this business over the littlest things, right? And I always want to go back to, if 1% of the population controls the majority of the wealth, why are you copying what 99% of the people are doing, right? If 99% of the people are willing to blow a relationship over a couple $100, why would you copy what they do if 99% of the population owns little to none of the country's wealth, right? For example, I'm gonna give you a story, right? I just dropped a lot of money today with I would call him a friend now, but he's a business owner, I'm a business owner, and I buy stuff from his shop, you know? So I would say over the course of our relationship, I probably spent over $10,000 to $12,000 with him, right? And it wasn't a long relationship, pretty relatively short, right? Um, but you know, the products that he sells, by me dropping that 10 to 12, if I would have been cheapo depot or whatever, I could have, looked on the internet, did this, went here, did this, been all over the place, built no relationship with this business owner, and probably saved $2,000 to $3,000, maybe, right? $3,000, right? Most people would be like, that's $3,000. I'm going to do that and save that. Let me tell you why short term, that may sound like it's a good idea. Long term, I'm going to tell you why not, right? So when I first meet this guy, we're both business owners. He thinks that I'm just a regular everyday client, just like everybody else, right? Every client asks the same type of questions. Difference between me is I didn't ask those questions. I wasn't concerned with price, audit, whatever the case is. A little bit concerned, obviously, you know what I mean? Nobody wants to ever get ripped off or nothing like that. Billionaires don't even get ripped off. Billionaires have a bunch of money, right? One of the things about billionaires is they just don't want to overpay, because it can ruin their reputation, right? If they're buying a house and the house is 10 million, but somebody sold them that house for 20 million, and it gets out in the paper that this billionaire paid $20 million for a house that he should have paid 10 million for, he loses credibility, he loses reputation. I'm not telling people to overpay. I'm just telling you there are more important things than price, right? You can nickel and dime and try to be the cheapest, and not really focus on the main thing, which is the relationship. So going back to this story with me and this business owner, right? So me and this business owner, we built some of a relationship, right? I know that he's not the cheapest in town, but he has other attributes that make him better, right? And I appreciate why he's better while somebody else would not, right? Family owned business. He's cool. The wife is cool. His son is cool. Very insightful. They teach you. They've been in the industry for 30 plus years. I'm new to the industry, trying to learn guidance, mentorship, etc. Right? So I go in there to buy some products today, and I spent quite a bit of money today, right? So I have a friend who, is a good friend of mine who gave me some suggestions of products I should buy from the guy that I built the relationship with, right? Now, this friend of mine, I take his word sometimes, but he's also not always right, right? He's also a guy who told me to invest in Safe Moon, put $1,000 in it, which is nothing. And everybody knows Safe Moon ain't worth nothing now. So he's a friend. I listen to his opinion, but sometimes I gotta take it with a grain of salt, right? So he tells me some things to buy. He tells me some products to buy, right? So I go to the guy that I've spent good money with already, and I tell him, hey, I want these two things. My friend told me to buy these things, right? He looks at the two things that I show him. He tells me, because I'm new to the space, right? He tells me, I'm just going to be honest with you. This thing that you're trying to buy right here, I wouldn't suggest that you buy it because here are all of the negative things that come with it. Here are the positive things about it. Here are the negative things with it, right? Basically, a lot of things can go wrong if you buy this thing, right? It's actually more expensive, but it's not more expensive because it works better. It's more expensive because it looks better, but it's not reliable at all, right? I can get you this product, which is cheaper, but it's way more reliable, right? Now, if me and this guy didn't build that relationship, he wouldn't even gave me that advice. He would have took my money for the more expensive thing, gave it to me, we would have been on our way, right? If we had no relationship, whatever the case is, right? And then I showed him something else, and he was like, okay, if you're gonna get this, I suggest you get this with it, this with it, this with it, this with it, right? I did that. Way better experience, right? So what I try to tell people, and I tell you that story to tell you this story, and like I said, I do this quite a bit. It's not all about penny pinching every single dollar, and the reason I really talk about the penny pinching thing, because this is the biggest flaw that I see with the 99% of the unsuccessful investors, right? This is the biggest flaw I've witnessed, right? You're willing to burn a relationship over a couple $1,000 when it's a relationship that can get things done that nobody that you know can get done. And now you have less tools in your toolbox when something in the future comes along that you need the expertise of somebody who knows exactly how to get done what you need to get done, right? And if you burn certain relationships over a couple dollars and you don't see the full picture, like from this partnership that I have with this guy, been in the industry for 30 years, very insightful, pleasant to be around, things like that. You know what I mean? Now it comes to the point where we on a first name basis. He throws in things for free for me. He gives me mentorship, guidance, advice, and also teaches me how to do things because he was in the industry for 30 years and I'm new to that industry. Does that make sense? Me and this guy's partnership. I've spent thousands of dollars with him at his shop buying products from him, but it's not about the cheapest. It's about the relationship. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing I tell you about this real estate space, right? You can have a rehab person who is better. He's just flat out better. He's faster. He's more efficient. He gets it done. He knows what you like. He knows everything. But then you find this other guy that's a little bit cheaper. You burn your relationship with the guy that's better just to get a botched deal, or somebody who's not as quick, not as fast, somebody that you got to babysit just to save a couple $1,000. That's what I noticed with the 99% that aren't, not saying 99% of investors aren't successful, but what I'm trying to say is the people that aren't successful, that is what I notice with them. They copy the cancerous traits of the people that will keep them in that space, so to say, right? They copy the cancerous traits that will keep them unsuccessful long term, right? But when I deal with the top investors, you don't have those same concerns. They value relationship. They value expertise. They value speed. They value efficiency. They value getting things done, and they value time over money, right? Nobody wants to get ripped off, but people value time over money. So, like I was saying, man, really let this sink into your head. You know what I mean? That case study was a real case study. Like I said, when it comes to this investment thing, man, really, really, really take the time and build the right relationships with people that know what they're doing, people that have your best interest in mind, and people that are well-rounded human beings all the way around. Look at the complete picture, and you will be fine in this space. Trust me. You have the right agents, you have the right money people, you have the right, rehab people in your corner. You will be more than fine in this business. You'll make a lot of money. And the only person that you should be cheap with is the person you buying the house from. That is it. If you find the right clientele, which is motivated sellers, right? Distressed properties, and you know how to negotiate with them, you will have no issue making money, because you're not going to make the money nickel and dime relationships that you're going to have to continue using over and over, but you'll make a lot of money getting the deal for the right price initially. And then you have a team that wants to work for you, likes working for you, enjoys you as a person, you enjoy them, you build a long-term relationship with them, and you can make millions over a long period of time, right? You want to get to a point where you pick up a phone call and the person actually is excited to hear your voice, opposed to, oh, this guy again, right? Trying to nickel and dime me for everything, right? That's not the way of the future. And like I said, cancerous ideas can spread just as quickly as bad ideas can get drowned. I mean, just as quickly as great ideas can get drowned out. So really look in the mirror, really change, things about yourself, and really, 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 watch this video, watch these videos that I put out, watch the videos that I produce. Really, 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 consume as much content as you possibly can in order to get rid of the only emotion that is stopping you from moving forward, right? Now, I always tell people there's only one emotion that is stopping you from your dreams, and that one emotion is fear. Whether you believe it or not, some people are afraid to fail. Some people are afraid to succeed. Some people are afraid to take action. Some people are afraid of their own shadow, right? If you can't get over that one emotion, which is fear, it'll be very difficult for you to be successful. So beat that emotion out of yourself. Get rid of that emotion. Try to mute that emotion as best as you can. And if you cannot mute that emotion, hire a therapist. Maybe they can help you control that emotion, contain it a little bit better. Not all fear is bad fear, but you're going to need to handle that emotion in order to move to the next steps, right? And with that being said, I'm out. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is your boy CJ. Take care.